Storytelling is important because you might find that you have things in common and get more friends.
By that you can start a conversation and make new friends and widen your circle.
So storytelling is a really integral part of connecting a community.
Like the name says, they do know your name but they don't know the background story, and it's really important to make people feel connected and make sure their story is being heard.
So I think it's really important, especially for rural communities, to be connected, and stories are a really great way of doing that.
Corangamite Shire consists of 17,000 people, 3,000 of which are youth aged between 12 and 25.
A lot of young people don't feel accepted within our community. They feel like it's not okay to be different from everyone else.
A recent survey showed that a quarter of young people in our area feel disconnected from the community.
We can know just about everybody's name walking down the street, but we have no idea what their story is. The Youth Council, some community services and Humankind Enterprises came together to discuss how we might be able to creatively solve this issue. We realised that sharing our stories might be the only way that we can find similarities between each other that actually fit outside that stereotypical mould. What if, to break this barrier, we could collect stories from all over our community and share them through social media and other non-digital avenues?
The difference between our project and other projects is that we, the young people, will be the story collectors.
We're in the Cobden Tech gym with the roadshow collecting stories in the StoryPod, just to spread the word about the story training and collecting and stuff like that.
Hopefully we'll get lots of students from the school interested in participating in the story collecting training.
Today was the Story Collected Training Day at the Theatre Royal in Camperdown, and there was lots of kids from all across the Shire, from all the different towns, who came together, and we learnt what it really means to capture a story and the power of people's stories. So today we learnt how to interact with people we would interview, just general skills, and how to communicate effectively and just feel comfortable asking people questions. All the stories are collected on smartphones, and you can just use handheld devices to convey people's stories. So the next step now everyone's been trained, we get to go off into the community and collect our stories, and these stories will then create part of the movie, which will be shown at the end to capture all the different stories that make up the people within our Shire.
Originally I came from the Netherlands. That was in 1956.
I lived all my life in Port Campbell until we were married, and we were married for 7 years. We lived down Port Campbell and we moved to Timboon. We bought a little farm out on Curdyvale Road, and we sold that about 47 years ago and moved into Timboon and been here ever since.
Go for it.
He wanted to be a farmer.
I was born in Warrnambool, grew up at Wangoon next to the Hopkins Falls, and moved to Timboon with my parents in 1980.
Yeah, I grew up in Skipton, and it was very fun.
I come from Swan Marsh, then we went from Swan Marsh to Cobden, and then to a settlement farm at Corangamite, probably 30 odd years ago, 40 years ago.
I was born to dairy farmers at Princetown, so I haven't gone too far.
I grew up on a dairy farm.
Well, I grew up in a lot of different places actually.
I grew up around the Western District.
I grew up on a farm just outside of Cassidy in a tiny little township called Wando Vale.
We got married just before we left, so I had to come with him, like it or not.
It was certainly a bit of a culture shock and shell shock when I moved to Warrnambool.
And when we were here, we just said, well, that's it, we're going to live in Australia and we do the best we can.
And we've been here for coming up 9 years.
Worked at Cobden Technical School for 31 years.
My husband's family have been here since the 1930s.
I've never had so many friends in my life as I've had since I've moved to Corangamite. It's just a lovely place to live and everybody's so friendly.
I really like the fact that Corangamite's got a whole lot of different towns.
I love the small communities. I love that they're small and that you can walk down the street and you can always find somebody that you know and say hello to.
I really enjoy the community atmosphere and knowing people and knowing you have community support.
I think it's probably the actual sense of community that you get from living in a rural area.
I love the people, I love the environment itself. It goes down to the ocean, we've got mountains, lakes, lots of bushland.
Challenges I've overcome. Well, one thing I'm doing at the moment is I live a long way away from where I work.
So I think one of the toughest challenges I've faced was when I moved away from the local area after Year 12 to Geelong, and I had to survive on a low wage, a cadet journalist's wage.
Well, I'd reckon one of the biggest challenges in my life is our son was born blind.
Losing my grandparents. I was very close to my grandparents.
Challenges. Through my life there's been heaps of challenges, I suppose.
Finding work when I finished university, that was a big challenge.
Overcoming a disability as a young person, having a workplace accident, lost a leg at the age of 20.
So career was a challenge for me as a young girl.
I went to uni in my late 30s, so that was a huge challenge for me.
About 20 years ago I was involved in a road accident that put me in hospital for about a month and a half.
Growing up with my two sisters, and I overcome it by basically just sometimes ignoring them when they were doing silly stuff.
I think I'm most proud of my children.
My children.
My daughters, they've both grown up to be lovely girls and they're both very successful and I love them dearly.
I'd say marrying my wife. I would imagine it'd been the most proudest time of my life. Been the best mate I've had.
I think one of my proudest achievements is having a book published.
I'm most proud of my family, my wife and my 3 children. Just my family.
I suppose I'm proud of myself and my family.
Well, I guess having a family, that's worked out pretty well.
I've represented Australia playing badminton at every World Championship since 2005.
Pride seeing students I've worked with being successful.
The most proud of it, sure that we have a dairy farm. We have liked it all the time. We really worked hard on it and we have achieved absolutely what we wanted.
I would actually be most proud of my year of football.
I love sport, I'm into sport and I think, sport is terrific as long as it's well managed.
I play netball and it's really fun because we share together and we play together nicely.
Favourite footy team, well, I call them the Saints.
The Dogs. And we won the premiership last year for the first time for only 60 odd years, I think it is.
I love my Hawthorn football team and anyone who knows me knows that.
Carlton, sadly.
Oh, the Cats. Silly question.
I'm a Carlton man.
Would have to be the Tigers, Richmond.
We are the Navy Blues, we are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team, never let you down.
My happiest moments? Oh, that's a hard one. I'm happy all the time.
I'd say my happiest memory would have to be watching the kids being born.
My happiest moments, I think, are when I play music.
My happiest memory, well, if I think back, it would be my wedding day.
My happiest memories is, of course, that the children were born and that we had just a nice family.
Going fishing with my older brothers when I was little.
I went on a cruise to New Zealand. That's probably one of the most happiest times that we've had.
Probably when my young fella Henry was born.
I like going to the beach because it's really fun and that the waves are very, 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 very big.
My happiest moments are spending time with my family.
I had a very happy moment. Saturday last week I climbed Mount Nurut, which was good for me.
Spending time with family.
My children make me happy.
Football makes me happy. And my mum makes me happy. My dad makes me happy. My sisters don't.
Just having a good time makes me happy.
One of the happiest times was going to see Metallica live, getting in the front row.
My happiest memory, I was still saying that being married to my wife. They had married, our marriage day, probably one of my happiest times in life.
My happiest memory, meeting him or married him. That was so nice. And then the kids come along and everything.
Yeah, just being accepted and part of community and sharing stories and good times with friends and family.
Okay, thank you. Right, we'll do that. Thank you.
Bye.
Not only do we get to hear people's stories and really get to know people in our community, but we also get to get out there and increase our confidence and make friends and really good connections with people our age and different generations within our community, which is really handy for a small country town.
What do you reckon? That's all I got.